Shonen Jump. From One Piece and Naruto to Black Clover and My Hero Academia, I've been a fan of Shonen for over 10 years now, and in that time have seen countless moments that have made me feel a wide variety of emotions, from pure happiness to total and utter despair, and everything in between. Narrowing this list down to 5 was definitely a challenge, and after many nights to sleep on it, I've managed to figure it all out. I'm Curtis, the Deku of Black Heroes, and here is my top 5 moments in Shonen. Number 5. All for One's debut. The most recent event that's going to be on this list. Prior to this, All for One has always been in the background mentoring Shigaraki, so when he finally stepped out of the shadows, he made one hell of a first impression. Taking down multiple heroes in one attack, including the number 3 hero, Best Jeanist, and even now to this day we have no idea what happened to Best Jeanist. We don't know if he's alive or he's became a Nobu or what, and that's all thanks to All for One. Like Deku, Momo, Todoroki, and Ida were so shaken with fear that they just could not move even if they wanted to, and they almost wanted to throw up just at the presence of this guy. My first thought when I saw that was, holy shit. That image of them seeing their own deaths mixed with All for One's theme was truly haunting. And honestly, I haven't felt such hopelessness since Orochimaru in the Forest of Death. This was the first time that I am glad that Deku did not rush into a battle, because if he did, that image would have become a reality. As far as villain debuts go, All for One is definitely up there, and fingers crossed we get to see this man in action one more time before the story ends. Number 4. Is it slavery when you get what you want? Going all the way back to DBZ during the Buu saga, by this time Vegeta has established himself as the anti-hero of the show, but he always felt inferior to Goku still. So when Babidi tried to take control of Vegeta and made him into Majin Vegeta, the only thing Babidi did was just turn those emotions that Vegeta already had and cranked them up to 1,000, or
it's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
Despite the threat of Buu, Vegeta is still trying to urge Goku to fight him so he can finally prove that he is the better man. Goku in response is questioning Vegeta as why he allowed himself to become a slave just to fight, and Vegeta responds by shooting a beam at a crowd of innocent people, killing dozens, and simply responding, "Is it slavery when you get what you want?" How many people had to die for Vegeta's pride? Now, the Vegeta fan in me thought that was a pretty badass moment, especially that line, but I was also hurt because Vegeta had grew so much as a character. Like, he now protects the world. He started a family with Bulma and Trunks, and poor Bulma, who was there and witnessed what Vegeta did. I can only imagine what she was feeling at that time. She was probably feeling pure heartbreak in that moment. Vegeta would follow this with a speech saying that Goku has constantly surpassed him in strength over and over and over again, and even going as far as saying Goku has saved him like he was just a helpless child. So in Vegeta's mind, he felt like this was his one opportunity to finally prove that he was the strongest out of everyone, including Goku. The reason why this moment stand out to me so much because it shows how much damage and destruction pride can truly cause. But it also made Vegeta's eventual redemption even sweeter, so that's why it's number 4 on my list. As great as this was, there's still 3 more that I think is even better. Number 3. Roy versus Envy. I'm somewhat cheating with this entry because Fullmetal Alchemist technically isn't Shonen Jump, but it's still Shonen, so it counts. So I smell a loophole. So let's talk about the utter destruction of Envy by Mr. Snap Crackle Pop himself. Now, even though I'd said versus, this was technically not a fight at all. This was a Joker with a crowbar quality beatdown. Envy made 3 mistakes to earn Roy's wrath. Mistake number 1. Killing Roy's best friend Hughes, aka Best Dad, aka number 1 Dad, rest in peace you brave man. Mistake number 2. Admitting to killing Hughes in front of Roy and everyone else.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
And mistake number 3. Bragging about killing Hughes in front of Roy and everyone else. The last person you want to piss off is the guy who can make nukes out of his hands.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Watching Envy get wrecked with explosion after explosion was one of the most satisfying things I think I've ever witnessed in anime in general. Roy screams with every blast. You can hear the anger and pain and rage in him, and it just made it so much sweeter. Like while you're watching it, you're just cheering like, yes, this is the end of one of the most hated characters ever. His character has caused a hero so much pain, and to see that character go through the same pain that they were causing others was truly amazing. But I do think there was another moment that was arguably more satisfying than this. Number 2. Luffy punches St. Charlos. Before I begin, this is St. Charlos. Now it's been well established that the Celestial Dragons are the racist, cruel pricks of the One Piece world, and St. Charlos is the worst of them all. Not only was he going to buy Cammy just so he could have a mermaid to torture, but he also shot Hachi, who was a very well beloved character by this point, and this was too many disrespects for a one rebel boy to handle. Usually no one ever retaliates against the Celestial Dragons out of fear of having an admiral called on them, but Luffy either did not know that or in that moment just didn't care. What happened next was probably the most epic punch in One Piece history, arguably in anime history. Luffy punched Charlos so hard that the color went off the screen. What made the punch so amazing was because it was the first time the Celestial Dragons got put in their place, and it also showed how badass Luffy was. He truly didn't care about the consequences, and it showed that he would rather take on an admiral than see his friends suffer. I could watch that punch every day and feel instantly happy, but there is still one moment that is number 1 in my heart. Number 1. The return of Sasuke. We started this list with a debut, and now we're ending it with a somewhat re-debut. There's no question that Sasuke is my favorite character in Naruto, and arguably my favorite character in anime in general, and we haven't seen much of him since the Sasuke retrieval arc, so I was so excited to finally get to see him in part 2. What makes this moment number 1 for me was just how godly Sasuke looked. Looking down at Team 7, looking down at the dollar store version of himself. Then, in a flash, he was side by side with Naruto, saying instead of focusing on him, Naruto should have been focused on his training. If he was focused on his training, that gap between the two of them wouldn't have been so big. My mind was just blown away at how Sasuke was just outclassing everyone present. It really made you think, like, what was Naruto doing for those 2 years? Because looking at Sasuke, it didn't seem like Naruto was doing much. If it wasn't for Orochimaru, Sasuke was going to end the show really, really early, because in that moment, he was going to use Karin or some version of that. So he was planning to kill them. End of show. But with this display, Sasuke proved he was ready to face Itachi, and for Naruto, that he had a long way to go before he was able to bring Sasuke back. Also, a little side note, that outfit was pretty fire. And that was my top 5 moments in Shonen. If you enjoyed this list, please like and possibly subscribe for more content. Also, please comment some of your own favorite moments over the years. I would love to see you guys' favorites. So, it's been your boy, the Carolina Smash, signing off. Until we meet again, remember everyone, surpass your limits and plus ultra. Peace!